Okay, welcome back. Let's go meet King Faharajad for the very first time. We've not yet met him before, so let's go meet him.
Welcome to Sentinel, Wayfarer. If you've come about the docks, rest assured I already know. I regret that you visit during such times. But perhaps your arrival is fortuitous. Perhaps the gods guided you here to help us fight the Withered Hand.
Who or what is the Withered Hand?
Necromancers, practitioners of the most vile magic, and the bane of the Alik'r Desert. It has been many years since we faced such a threat. I hope the rumors about this group, the Withered Hand, were untrue. But today's events prove otherwise.
So where did the Withered Hand come from?
Several years ago, a diabolical necromancer named Satura led an army of undead against me. Satura was defeated, but the rumors suggest his sons have returned for revenge. They are calling themselves the Withered Hand.
So the necromancer at the docks was with them?
Undoubtedly. But I suspect the attack at the docks was merely a feint. I fear the Withered Hand is planning something far worse.
So what can we do to stop them?
That is the challenge I now face. The people of the Alik'r Desert, even those in Sentinel, are superstitious. They believe that striking the dead carries a terrible curse. For them, it is an act of dishonor. That is why I need you, Wayfarer.
Okay, I will help however way I can, Your Majesty.
Then your visit is fortuitous indeed. My own son, Prince Azar, has been investigating the rumors about the Withered Hand. He is a bright young man, but he needs help. First, though, I would ask you to inform General Thoda of what has befallen.
I met him in Alik'r Castle, I believe.
Yes, that is likely. General Thoda is my chief military advisor. He is also a practical man who places security above superstition. He is resting at his home after returning from Alik'r, but I need his counsel on how to proceed.
Okay, I'll go speak with General Thoda right away.
General Thoda is a trusted advisor and a good friend. He has heard the rumors about the Withered Hand, and he can help us. Tell no one else, though. People remember Satura, and hearing his sons have returned could cause a panic.
So how did you defeat Satura if you're not allowed to kill the dead?
It's quite a tale, and I cannot do it justice now. But the battle against Satura was the most difficult of my life, both in military and political terms. It was the Ashaba who saved us. They had the thankless task of fighting the undead.
Who are the Ashaba?
The Ashaba. Where do I begin? They walk among us, but only in shadows. People believe they are cursed. They are dishonored warriors, bound by the sacred oath of their forefathers. They must fight the dead when called upon to do so.
Where are they now?
I have not called on them. I've even disregarded their warnings. You must understand. The common people despise them. To call on them again might cost me the crown. That is why I must rely on you, Wayfarer.
So where did the superstitions come from?
It is not an ancient Yokudan custom, but a tradition that developed in the desert. Human remains decay slowly here, and our people came to believe their ancestors' corpses were sacred. To harm one would draw the ancestors' curse.
And the people still believe that today?
Of course. You see, the culture of the Alik'r evolved around this ideal. Many of us today realize that exceptions must be made. But in my position, to ask my soldiers to strike down the dead would cause an outcry, and possibly lead to rebellion.
Okay, he's afraid of his people. Let's see if we can learn a little bit about this place. We've already read that. Yeah, we've read that too, but there must be a book in here that can tell us more about the Alik'r Desert. Man, we've read so many books. There must be at least one in this palace that can tell us about Faharajad or the Alik'r Desert, and you know, here we go, we found two sitting right here. The first one is the Mage's Guild book. It says Sentinel, the Jewel of Alik'r. That's where we are, isn't it? Yep, that's the main city here. Excuse me. So let's read it. Sentinel, the Jewel of Alik'r, by the unveiled Azadea songbird of Satakalam. Know, O Prince, that in the time of Ragada, the forebearers did come to Hammerfell from doomed Yakuda. First they landed at Hegath, which they freed of the affliction of the beast peoples. Then spread they both wise along the coast, seeking out godly harbors and well-watered oases. To the north and west went the warrior sailors of the Grandi Yogob in the great ships they had brought from the Akash Kazaz until they rounded Cape Shira. Then was Yogob the first of the Ragada to behold the Iliac Bay, and he deemed it laudable, and praised its excellences, and vowed to make it so henceforth upon its shores. And as Yogob sailed toward the steed at dawning of the 17th of the second seed, his watchman cried out that he spied a desirable harborage. And Yogob, perceiving it, agreed and said, This harborage shall belong to us, for we shall take it to be ours. And I do name it Sentinel, after the one who first espied it. Alright. Then Sentinel, for thus ever after it was known, already contained a port in its harbor, which port was the haunt of low elves and men who did consort with elves. And the shores were green with the leaves of pomegranate and fig and olive. And the men of the Grandier saw this and were hungry and sought to come ashore, despite the warnings and cries of the port rabble. But when Yogob landed with his warrior sailors, with their bright swords and picked helms, and the port rabble were cowed and spake cringing, What would you with us, O mighty sword singers? Slay us not, for we have done you no harm. And Yogob said to them, Nay, though you are infidels and partake of unclean practices, I will not slay you. For I have a thought to build me a palace upon the height above the harbor, and such labor is not meet for my noble warrior sailors. Therefore ye shall live and become masons and stone wrights and servants of the house. And thus was the true port of Sentinel founded. The port rabble found purpose in their new labors, and built walls and the marketplace and the palace of Yogob. This was the Sumeric of glorious name, and legendary are the mighty kings and queens who have reigned from it since. For the crowns who followed the forebears found Sentinel a worthy seat, and many were the Totambu who settled there. Even today, O Prince, above the city gates flies always the banner of the crescent moon, for this was the banner of the Grandi Yogob, which has become the symbol of Sentinel in remembrance of him. And the faithful celebrate the Grandi on the Komu al-Azir Yogob every 17th of second seed, when we share pomegranates in honor of our esteemed ancestor. The Lost Islands of Old Yakuda. Okay. I remember Lost Yakuda, I remember all her great islands. I remember Samara, indeed, I had a husband there. Samara, low, lush, welcoming with many harbors, warm and sweet of fruit. Tamash was much like his island. Long and long we abided there in loving leisure, until the tides of the sea pearls drew me away from him. I remember Kanish, indeed, I had a husband there. Oh wow, really? Kanish, tall, volcanic, harsh, but strong and blazing with inner heat. Yogzi was much like his island. We explored together with liquid heat, but petrified as we cooled. The Azurian called me from his arms at last. I remember Yath, indeed I had a husband there. Yath, jagged, arid, rugged, magnificent, with clear views from a spine like steel. Sofidin was much like his island. He pulled me up on a charger to ride by his side, and together we explored every terrain. One day he rode off over a ridge and was gone, and I once again returned to the sea. I remember Akash Kazaz. Indeed, I had a husband there. Akash Kazaz, biggest of all, ruler and rebel, moody and many-sided, gentle and brutal, Oshna was much like his island. There I stayed longest of all, and together we fought wars, reared children, and built the city Totambu. But even there, one day I scented the east wind from the Abyssian, and though by then my hair fell iron gray to my waist, I returned at last to the sea. I remember Yakuda. Interesting. All right, let's continue where we were. We need to talk to General Doda.
from Alik'r. You roughed up so many of my bravos. Tamriel is a small place, after all. I just returned from Alik'r myself, back in my chair, drinking my wine with my wife. Wait. Please tell me you're not here to disturb me.
No, King Faharja sent me. It's about the Withered Hand.
No! You realize what this means. Not one moment of relaxation, not one. And damn it, I thought this talk about the Withered Hand was just rumor. Are you sure this is true?
Yes, they summoned the undead to attack the docks.
The Sentinel docks? The nerve. But it sounds like something those motherless dogs would do. I tell you, Uwafa and Alasan might just be more dangerous than their father.
I'm assuming Uwafa and Alasan are the sons of the other dude that was defeated.
Uwafa and Alasan are the sons of that old bastard Satura. They're calling themselves the Withered Hand as a fear tactic. I knew them when they were boys. They're the same age as Prince Azar. Speaking of whom, we should inform him as well.
The king said Azar has been investigating the Withered Hand.
Exactly. He knows more about this business than I do. That's for sure. If you'll go round up the prince, I'll have to find some way to explain to my wife why I'm leaving again. Then we can all meet at the palace.
Okay, so where can I find the prince?
My guess is that he's with the girls at his seraglio by the north wall. I know what you're thinking, but it's not because the prince is some kind of ladies' man. The girls help him gather information. Perhaps he'll already know what's happened.
Okay, I'll go look for him right away.
My hope is that Prince Azar might have a lead on where Uwafa and Alasan have set up their headquarters, or better yet, what they're planning next. Regardless, these are things we should discuss at the palace.
Does the prince know Uwafa and Alasan as well?
We all do. Satura was one of the king's viziers, kept his little hobby a secret. Then one day the king came to meet his viziers and found them all dead. The real surprise was when Satura ordered their corpses to attack. That's how it started.
So how did you know the sons, though?
I tried to train them in swordplay. Uwafa and Alasan along with Prince Azar. Those two had no interest, though. I would always catch them torturing insects and animals. The prince, he hated them. And they hated him right back.
Okay, I guess it starts at a young age. A forebear warrior's song. Akatosh, my strength comes from your hands. My enemies fall before my sword. Can you hear their cries? Death, they cry. Death, I sing. But death is theirs, not mine. Wipe the blade of their color. Wipe the shield of their color. Victory is ours. Stendar, grant my weapon. Fall only thus. For justice, for the right ways. Can you hear my plea? Justice they pray. Justice I sing. Justice is mine and also theirs. Wipe the blade of their color. Wipe the shield of their color. Victory is ours. For the way of the righteous is mercy, and compassion for the weak. Can I wield your sword and shield? Mercy they beg, mercy I give. Swift death to the unjust, slow death to the merciless. Wipe the blade of their color, wipe the shield of their color. Victory is ours.
What do you want?
I should have tried to stop them. I'm sorry. So sorry. What have I done?
What happened here?
It was a nightmare. These savage men burst into the seraglio. They struck down the guards and even sweet little Rohiba. And then they took the prince. Please, would you go after them? You have to.
Of course, did you see where they took him?
No, yet another way in which I failed. I should have followed them out into the street. I'm such a fool. Maybe someone else out there saw them. Maybe they can tell you which way those men took the prince.
Okay, I'll go ask in the street. Okay, there's Rahiba. A lot of people have been killed here.
Prince, someone help. They took him?
That way. They went that way.
They took the prince. Down the path. Hurry!
I tried, but they got me with their evil magic. They took the prince. Down there. I think it leads out of the city. Please, go stop them.
My pleasure.
I don't recognize you, but under the circumstances, I'm certainly glad to make your acquaintance. You will be well rewarded for assisting me. I can promise that much.
All right.
Ah, so you do know who I am then? Did my father put you up to this? Is he keeping tabs on me? Well, I shouldn't be so accusatory. If he was tracking me, then I guess that turned out to be extremely fortunate. I don't wish to seem ungrateful, but you should know that kidnapping me was just a distraction. The Withered Hand, they've been planning this for years. If only we had heard the rumors sooner. At this point, I don't think we can stop them.
Stop them from doing what?
From tunneling into the impervious vault. This tunnel was just one of their attempts. It's a brilliant plan, really. The gates of the vault have been magically sealed for centuries, but underneath, the vault's apparently not so impervious.
So why do they want to break into the vault?
Undoubtedly, they're hoping to steal the Onse wards. With the wards, Wafa and Alisan could become unimaginably powerful. It could be bad. Really bad. Even if we can't stop them, we have to try. We should get back to the palace and tell my father.
Sure.
Let's head south. There's a ladder leading up into the city.
See, how's our inventory doing? No, we need to... We don't have any repair kits. Yeah, we need to find a blacksmith soon. I've been seriously considering investing in that trader, but the one thing that annoys me is that she cannot repair armor. She should be able to repair armor, just don't make her available in dungeons, that's all. You know, but one of the reasoning behind it was that, well, she makes dungeons pretty much irrelevant if you can just stop and repair armor at a whim. On a whim, rather, but... Basically, I would be buying... You're buying her only so that you can sell your excess inventory to her, and that really irks me. Right, we need to get our daily ride upgrade. And I also need to clear out some of our inventory. But first I need to find the stable. No, that's just a home.
The horses are restless.
Right, let's take a break. We'll be right back with more Elder Scrolls Online.